What's up, NBA fans? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy, JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew, Shy, Kelvin, KB, Film Room, Big Dog, Talk Sports. That's right. For everyone who's tuning in, keep supporting Behind the Bench, subscribe to the channel, help make this show the best that it can be. We have about a little over a month to go before we enter into the new year 2025. And we're just going to keep on keeping on, as they say. Now, I know I'm not crazy, and I don't go looking for this information because it's already there, but eventually I find it. You know what I mean? I don't go looking for it, but I find it at the same time. And all one can do is just shake their head, man. And Kyle Kuzma, who was drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers back in 2017. That was the year where the Lakers drafted 4 players in the same draft class. 4. Kyle Kuzma said something prior to the start of his 3rd season in the league. This was preceding the 2019-2020 season. He made a comment. He say, "I'm surprised that we gave up all this young talent. I believe we had a future dynasty in our hands." That was Kyle Kuzma. You don't normally hear a 3rd-year player make that claim. A dynasty is something that is achieved over a period of time. It's not something that you can really predict early on before the dynastic run even begins to take place. He was in practice. He practiced with his teammates, the Brandon Ingrams, the Julius Randles and whatnot, the Jordan Clarksons. He saw it. And as a lifelong fan of this team, man, this is why I continue to hold on to the reality of what was given up. It's not like when people say, well, you never know if you're going to win or not. So if you have a chance to win a championship, you do it. That sounds good. But that's today's current climate that was brought forth 15 years ago. You wouldn't have heard that talk 15 years ago. You know what would happen? Any organization that drafted to this degree, they would have stayed the course. They wouldn't have broke it up prematurely. They wouldn't trade off all the young talent. They wouldn't have been waiving players to create cap space. No, they would have saw it through because the mindset would have been, you know what? Give us 3 years, give us 3-4 years, and we're going to unleash the hounds. That would have been the attitude. If this was 1996, let me give you a perfect example. Kobe Bryant was drafted in 1996. He started his career and played his entire career for the Laker franchise. When Jerry West first saw him play and started to scout him, that was as early as his junior year in high school, playing for Lower Merion in Philadelphia. So when Jerry West was looking to draft Kobe Bean Bryant, the late Kobe Bean, at the age of 18, because remember, well, for basketball fans who may not have been around during that time, Jerry West received a lot of criticism for trading to acquire the draft rights to bring in Kobe Bryant. The Lakers traded veteran center Vlade Divac to the Charlotte Hornets to acquire the rights to draft Kobe outright. Now, Vlade Divac was a solid center in this league. He was solid. He can play. He was our starting center in his second year when the Lakers went to the finals in 1991 to face the Chicago Bulls. But Jerry West wasn't looking at what Kobe Bryant could contribute at 18. He was looking at what Kobe Bryant could become 4 years down the road. And when Kobe Bryant came of age and became the Kobe Bryant that we remember him for, that's when Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal started winning championships after their fourth year as teammates. It wasn't based on Shaq, it was based on Kobe, because Jerry West saw the full picture. Like I said, most critics or most NBA journalists they thought Jerry West was crazy for making that move. But he turned out to be a genius because he was looking down the road. Now imagine if that same type of vision and patience was applied to all the young talent that they brought in. And as I keep alluding to, we never seen a franchise draft this deep over a 4-year period to where they drafted so deep, the two additional players that they drafted a year later in 2018 in Mo Wagner and Zavi Mikhailiuk. Well, by that point, they was going to have to start letting some drafted players go. You know what I'm saying? That's how deep they drafted. And as we can see, Mo Wagner, he now plays for the Orlando Magic. He contributed to that upset victory by the Magic versus the Lakers the other night. When Orlando beat the Lakers, I believe the score was like 119-118. So what I'm getting at is, I came across this just as a reminder. And it says Los Angeles Lakers scouting team is on a different level. This is what I've been talking about. When I watched that Summer League back in 2017, when the Lakers, this was Lonzo Ball's rookie year, Kyle Kuzma's rookie year, Josh Hart rookie year, Thomas Bryant rookie year, Brandon Ingram was entering his second year, Caruso was brought up from the G League. And I was sitting here, man, I watched the Summer League, man. And it was Zubats was entering his second year, Ivica Zubats. And I said, man, I had chills, man. I'm literally telling the truth. I'm not exaggerating anything. That was the most exciting Summer League in the history of the tournament. There hasn't been a more exciting Summer League before or since. The Lakers Summer League team in 2017 drew a larger audience than any Summer League team to date. And that's probably going to be the case for the foreseeable future. That team would have been special. The energy, like I said, man, it was like a new era just kicked off. You see what I'm saying? It felt like, wow, man, we are about to enter an era that can really flourish for the next decade plus. That was the feeling. So, because most dynasties, you think of a team that has a dynasty, well, that means they're at the top of the landscape for at least a decade. So when you give that up, man, it's heavy. So to justify, you have to say, in the Lakers case, well, the Lakers won a championship in 2020, but it took place in the bubble. I'm sorry, man, it took place in the bubble. And it's been constant flux since. The Lakers need this, the Lakers need that. They need shooting. They need rim protection. They need guard play. They need more offensive production off the bench. And I keep saying, everything they're looking for to this day, they had it. That's how you know that what they gave up was monumental. So when you look at this, when I say they're on another level, they're on another level. And despite the fact that they mortgage the future away, some kind of miraculous fashion, they still bringing in high-level talent. So you look at this list here. Let's go to Ivica Zubac. Ivica Zubac was drafted with the 32nd pick. He was a prospect. I mean, it was like, I believe Zubac is from Croatia, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe he's from Serbia. I believe it was one of them Eastern European countries. It was like, man, they found him. It's like, if anybody watched that movie, Blue Chips back in the day, with Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway and Nick Nolte, and that was one of the best basketball films. It was like when they recruited Shaquille O'Neal's character in the movie, he was like a myth. You know what I'm saying? It was like nobody had heard of him. I think heard of him except for the town that he was living in playing basketball. That's how Zubac is. It was like a literal diamond in the rough. Like he was kept hidden from the rest of the basketball world. That's what I'm trying to say. I was trying to think of a way to come up with it. But the former president said he was no good to justify why he was traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. Said he was no good. But when you look at what he's doing out there, I just watched him play last night. What's crazy about it, he really hasn't been developed. Like you can see that his development has taken place way too late in his career. Whereas if he was really developed starting out, he would be an all-star level center. He would have been averaging 20 points and double-figure rebounds years ago. Now he only had 8 shot attempts last night. They really don't feature him in the offense. But what he provides, man, is interior, as they say, a lot of teams out there looking for an interior rim protector at the center spot. Well, last year he was the number 1 rim protector in the league percentage-wise. He's 3rd in the league in rebounds. Right now, only 2 players are ahead of him. Nikola Jokic, the best center in basketball, 3-time league MVP, meaning people feel that he's the best player in the league right now. And Domantas Sabonis of the Sacramento Kings, who led the league in triple-doubles last year. Zubac is right there. He's right there. And
he has scored more points with the hook shot than any team in basketball this year, or any other player in basketball who has scored, utilizing that shot. I'm talking about a full-fledged hook shot. Well, he's scoring with hook shots more than any other center in the league. And he's tied with Nikola Jokic and having games of 15 rebounds or more. And he can give you 70% from the free throw line. So he truly hasn't been developed, and he's giving you this performance, particularly on the defensive end. But as you always hear the Lakers, there's always a need for the center position. They have to upgrade every year. They need a center. They need a big. They need a rim protector. Well, they had it, and they traded him away at the age of 21. You don't do that. Okay. Josh Hart. Josh Hart was drafted out of the University of Villanova, coming off a national championship with Jalen Brunson, I believe McCall Bridges, if I'm not mistaken. When he was drafted by the Lakers, the scouting report was, first of all, he had intangibles. He's tough. But the key strength of his game was rebounding at his position. Well, lo and behold, he has turned into the best pound-for-pound rebounder in the NBA. He showed that during the playoffs this past season. He was averaging darn near 13 rebounds a game, and his height is like 6'4", and he was leading the postseason in rebounds per game. He was helping the Knicks win playoff games. As a starter, matter of fact. So he has played above his value since he's been in the league. I remember that series, I think that was the second round, where they lost in the second round to Indiana. New York was ravaged by injuries, but they did stretch the series to 7 games. Well, they flashed a statistic where he was averaging during their 13 rebounds a game, and his rebound per game average was the second greatest in league history in the past 50 years for a player at his height. So we talking about 60 years. But they'll say that we didn't have no talent. Okay. Kyle Kuzma, drafted out of Utah, 4-year college player. Josh Hart and Kyle Kuzma was both 4-year college players. So the Lakers, after drafting the one and done, the cornerstones, the Randalls and the Brandon Ingrams and the Lonzo Balls or whatnot, they started drafting guys with multiple years of college experience. The blueprint was working to perfection. This is why I keep saying it's working to perfection. Because I was sitting there, I was just noticing tendencies. I said, okay, I see what they doing now. I said, okay, they drafted, because they figure one and done players may take a little longer to develop. They may have a greater degree of talent, but their game is not as mature as someone entering the pro ranks with 3-4 years of college. I said, okay, I see what the Lakers are doing now, man. I mean, when you see it, like when you actually see it unfold, and it's like, it's not really being highlighted, but when you see it, it makes you that much more excited. Okay, so Kyle Kuzma, as a rookie, averaged 16.5 points a game. Top 5 rookie of the year vote getter. And top 5 in Laker history for points per game or total points scored in the season by a rookie. Top 5. So he's part of Laker history. And he had a knack for hitting big shots. Even, remember the game, this was in the beginning of the bubble tournament. During the seeding round, there was a game where the Lakers played Denver, right? And the game came down to the wire, and they called the game-winning shot, not for the Hurricane, not for AD, not for Danny Green, not for Rondo, not for Avery Bradley, not for Dwight Howard, not for JaVale McGee. They called the last shot for Kyle Kuzma because they know he had the knack for hitting big shots. Even when you got two superstars and a pseudo super squad out there, they still called his number because that's a skill. So he gets traded to Washington, and his first 2 years in Washington, he hit 10 game-winning shots or go-ahead shots alone down the stretch of them games for that franchise. When Bradley Beal was still playing for the Wizards, he was the best player on the team, the veteran on the team for years. Well, he deferred to Kuzma down the stretch of them games. When Washington was still halfway competitive, now they're just starting all over again because, all the outside of Kuzma and they have Jordan Poole on the team, but they're clearly starting over again. But when they had that roster, the first season and a half of being traded to Washington, Kyle Kuzma was leading the NBA and shooting percentage in the clutch. He was hitting clutch shots at a greater rate than the superstars of this league. He hit 10 game winners or go-ahead shots during his first 2 years on the team. He's a reserve player, a six-man, and prior to this season, he basically been averaging like 22 a game. That's nothing to sneeze at. He's playing above his value. That's why he got the $100 million contract offer with the Wizards. Now, I think now he's probably getting frustrated because, he's getting tired of, losing, and he probably at some point is going to request a trade, but he's in his prime right now. He's played above his value. So you got a center who you drafted that's third in the league in rebounding. He was the best rim protector in basketball last year, percentage-wise. So that's a metric. They all have a distinct strength, aspect of the game that they're at the top of the league of, a specific category. Rebounding, clutch shooting, rim protection. That's huge as far as winning, when it comes to winning. Okay. Alex Caruso, undrafted, brought up basically through the Lakers' G League system. Okay. So basically he's developed into an exceptional 3-and-D defender coming off the bench, right? Caruso, that was 2 seasons ago, during the 22-23 season, he was leading the league in steals per game, and he was doing that as a reserve. Leading the NBA in steals per game as a reserve. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. His defense stands out so much. He brings a lot of intangibles, too. He brings intangibles. You cannot measure intangibles, but intangibles help you win in this league. He was such a coveted player that Oklahoma City, who's on the rise, traded Josh Giddey, who was a good player, good young player in his own right, to bring in Caruso to shore up the defense. And as a result, Oklahoma City is off to a stronger start than they were last year when they clinched the number 1 seed in the West. But they gonna sit there and say we didn't have no talent. Okay. That's just mind-boggling. You leading the league in steals, and he was doing so until he suffered a injury from a dirty play that season, I believe, where he broke his hand or broke his wrist and he missed like 6 weeks. So he didn't play enough games to qualify as the steals leader or one of the steals leaders by season's end. Austin Reeves, undrafted. I believe he played at the University of Oklahoma. I remember watching this workout video. I said, man, this young man can play. They think about it, he was undrafted, man, and 3 years later, man, he's a fixture in the Lakers starting unit, and he's having his best season of his career. He's tough, and he knows how to score, in a way that has elevated him to becoming a full-fledged starter. So his rookie year, he averages about 6-7 a game, and then he has incrementally increased his points per game average from like 13 to 15. Now he's averaging close to he's probably averaging about 17 a game. And he can score, man. He can score. He can shoot. He knows how to get his shot off, and he's playing above his value. You know what I'm saying? He's playing above his value, man. It's not a fluke what he's doing, and he's helping the team win games. And he can pass at a above average level. Much better than what was anticipated when they brought him in as a rookie. That's scouting, man. When you can scout a player and project, you can scout a player and say, man, 3 years down the road he could turn into this as an undrafted player. That's above and beyond. Okay. And then Dalton Knecht, drafted out of the University of Tennessee, another 4-year player. He was considered the best shooter in his draft class. And during the preseason, he had like a 37, 38 point outburst versus Phoenix to help the Lakers come back and win that game. And you can just see, man, he had a knack, for shooting. I'm talking about a shooter. You know what I mean? Not a streak shooter. I'm talking about a shooter. And you look at him so far this year, they've inserted him into the Lakers starting unit. And he's averaging 11 points so far as a rookie. One of the top candidates to, potentially win Rookie of the Year. So what I'm trying to say is, man, this. You take these 6 players right here, they helping you win games. And they all, matter of fact, I think, what did they say about Dalton Knecht? He had a 37-point outburst a couple of games ago, I believe, versus Utah. And where he shot during near 70% from the field that game. And they said clearly he's on. No, matter of fact, I believe he broke the team record for 3-point shooters in one game. He holds the franchise record now, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they said, for one game, I believe Dalton Knecht now holds that record, franchise record. So what I'm trying to say is, man, when you take that, then you look at Jordan Clarkson. Jordan Clarkson, he had that Kobe Bryant mentality, coming off the bench as a 6-man, where he going to put pressure on the defense. He's going to shoot the ball. He's going to put pressure on the defense. That's a skill, to constantly put pressure on the defense. And he's the only player, drafted by the Lakers who's ever, I'm talking about started his career as a Laker, whoever won 6-man of the year. And he did that. He achieved that during the 2020-21 season for the Utah. As soon as he was traded to a good team, boom, he wins 6-man of the year. When they said he was really no good, he was only scoring the way he was playing on a bad team. As soon as he go to a good team, not only did he help them clinch the number 1 seed in the West that year with the superstar out due to injury, Donovan Mitchell, he helped them win that first round series against Memphis as number 1 seed. He won Sixth Man of the Year over his own teammate, Joe Ingles. He won that award, man. So we drafted a Sixth Man of the Year caliber player. Then, of course, Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram, he's like in his 8th, 9th season now. He was drafted at 18 years old. And he's turned himself into, for the past 4 years, he's been the best mid-range shooter in basketball for any player in the league under the age of 30. And he's top 4 in the league right now in shooting percentage from the mid-range. He's top 4 right now, maybe like a percentage, like a 0.5% behind the other the top 2 players. And De'Aaron Fox, I believe, is leading the league in mid-range right now because he's on a hot streak over the past week, scoring all these points and whatnot. But B.I. is known for the mid-range game. He holds the all-time record in NBA history for free throw percentage improvement from one season to the next, like 19%. He holds that record. So he's worked extremely hard at his game. Okay, then you have Julius Randle. Julius Randle, first player since Larry Bird to average 24, 10, and 6 while shooting 80% from free throw line and 40% from 3. That was during the 2020-21 season. And he won Most Improved Player that year, and Brandon Ingram won Most Improved Player the year before and became an All-Star. Julius Randle, two-time second-team All-NBA at his position. This is nothing to sneeze at. We've given up definitely 4 players who has averaged 20 points or more in a season. 2 guys that you could say average 25 a game. It's insane. Even Lonzo Ball, he's been just the unfortunate bearer of injuries. But during his last 2 months in New Orleans, when New Orleans Pelicans, he was averaging 20 points a game. He was averaging 27-7, so he was starting to meet his projection as a number 2 pick, especially once he corrected that shooting form. He goes to the Bulls. He just builds on that, and he became such a defensive presence that the previous season, which turned to be his last year with New Orleans, for any other player who played over 500 minutes during the season, he guarded the other team's best offensive player. He was taking on the toughest defensive assignments in the league at the age of by his 5th year in the league. Look, he helped the Chicago Bulls take over first place in the Eastern Conference the first 3 months of that season before he went down with that knee injury that he's just recovering from. So what I'm saying is, man, I'm looking at this. They all specialize in a specific aspect of the game where they were the top of the food chain for. Defense. Lonzo Ball is becoming the best 3-and-D point guard in the NBA before he suffered that injury. Josh Hart, rebounded supreme. Caruso. Arguably, he could be the best defender as a reserve in the NBA. Arguably. That's why OKC traded for him. Austin Reeves. He's considered the number 3 scorer on the team for the Lakers, right? Okay, so to be an undrafted player and to play behind 2 superstars and be considered number 3 player, he's playing above his value. Kuz. I know he's frustrated now in D.C. because he has no business there, but he was traded there. He was traded there for Russell Westbrook at the time, but he showed who he is to where the star player for the Wizards at the time, Bradley Beal, deferred to him at the end of games because they knew he could hit the big shot. Like, it got to the point where when he had the ball in his hands, when he went up for the shot, I feel confident it was going in. That's when you know you have something. And like I said, Zubac, he's still being underutilized on offense for the Clippers. But on the defensive end, you can see how he impacts the game defensively. Now he don't block every shot, or when he switch up top, whoever has the ball, they'll shoot a jumper over him. But in terms of defending that paint, he's improved tremendously. Third in the league in rebounds. So you combine all that together, man, and you combine all that, and I'm probably leaving somebody out. Thomas Bryant, he was drafted out of University of Indiana. He was a stretch 5. He was already shooting 40% from 3 in college. They let him walk to create cap space. They brought him back 2 seasons ago. He inserted into the starting lineup. He won 5 games for that team alone to save their season. When Anthony Davis was out due to a foot injury, he was averaging like 16-9, 17-8. So what I'm saying is, man, you combine all that together, dog, and you bring in the right star player with no ulterior motive that would truly be eager to help elevate the young core as they grow and emerge and mature. I'm telling you, man, this team will be frightening on the game in, game out basis, because you're gonna have all the tools. You'll be the most versatile team in the league. You can play power ball, or what they may call bully ball, with Julius Randle. Plus, he's left-handed. See what I'm saying? You can go mid-range. You want to go mid-range. They want to run you off the three-point line. That's okay. We can run some motion, run a pin down, free up Ingram, and his sweet spot is around the elbow anyway. Pull up mid-range jumper, cash. If you want to go the three-point route, okay, now we got, when we drafted Zavi Mikhailic in 2018, he was the, I think, top 3 in the nation in three-point shooting, the top three-point shooter in the the Big 12 conference coming out of Kansas. So we got the three-point shooting. And even before they brought the Hurricane to the team, the Lakers already had a top 3 scoring bench in the NBA. That's what I'm saying, man. They were so far ahead of the curve. That's why that year, when they finished the season up, although they didn't go to the playoffs, they improved by another 10 games. They had a point differential of -1 by season's end. -1. That's unheard of for a team that's starting over. The Lakers team of 2022 that had the Voltron squad, the top 5, they had 5 top 75 all-time players. The Hurricane, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard, Carmelo Anthony, they point differential was like darn near -4. So what I'm saying is, man, that's why Kyle Kuzma said what he said. I believe we gave up a dynasty. Then you have a player like Max Christie, who they drafted 2 years ago in the second round. Well, you can develop him to be like an elite level 3-and-D defender, wing defender, because they always say teams looking for a 3-and-D wing, you know what I'm saying, to play defense. We had it all. That's my point. And you have your draft picks. You can constantly, bring people in, draft people, or if you want to make a key trade to, further solidify what you have, okay, you can do it. You can do it. That's what I'm telling you, man. This team would have been hitting home runs for 10, 12 seasons, man. And that's what this franchise gave up, man. And that's why, I hold on to this the way I do, man, because I know what we gave up. But, it's all over now. But they continue to cash in, man. And arguably, the Lakers have the best scouting department in all of basketball. I believe they do. Then you got other, Oklahoma City's done a tremendous job with they scouting. Tremendous job. Denver did a great job, bringing in Jokic in the second round and Jamal Murray from Kentucky and then Michael Porter Jr. to build a champion squad. They did a great job. But in terms of the depth that we drafted, man, like it's like a roster and a half. That's freaking unheard of what they did, man. And they let it all go for 1 year. I can't wrap my head around that. I just cannot. I could see if it was maybe 5 players that you could say, okay, man, that was top notch. No, man, they brought in like 14, 15. That's unheard of. Then shit, you had Larry Nance Jr., the jack of all trades. He come and give you the energy, the crazy dunks, keeping the ball in play, blocking shots. You know what I'm saying? His energy was infectious coming off the bench. I mean, we had it all, man. And I was just, in my mind, I visualized what they could have been, man. And it's, I get excited about it, but then it's bittersweet because it's all over now, And I know you can't keep everybody, and I realize that, man. But when you got a opportunity like this, man, you cannot throw it aside. You cannot do it, man, because the Lakers have never had this opportunity again, man. No, all the stars line up in a beautiful way. As Kobe Bryant was reaching retirement, man, and now you starting a brand new chapter, man. After a transcendent player like that, calls it a career, and it wouldn't have took as long as what we thought, man. Because once it hits, man, it's not gonna slow down. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, man, we never needed that guy. We never needed to bring him to the team, man. And I know that's why Kuzma said what he said. And like I said, Brandon Ingram would be better. Because when I see him play in New Orleans, because the team is built around Zion Williamson, his game seems out of place. It seems out of place down there, man. But I think he would be playing better alongside Randall than, that he's been trying to do with Zion, But like I said, man, we've been winning way more than what they trying to win now. We wouldn't be talking about trades every day. You see what I'm saying? It'd be a normal thought process, man. You go out there, you ball for a season, and by season's end, and you say, okay, man, we just make a tweak here and there. Because you're so deeply rooted in your roster, man, you ain't got to make a large overhaul. And then free agents, as far as like, someone coming off the bench or whatnot, they would have been standing in line waiting. We'd have been turning people down. I'm telling you, man. But as this title says, man, Los Angeles Lakers Sky team is on a different level, man. They on a different level. They're on a different level, man. And whenever they have another chance to draft, they're going to cash in again. Why? They're going to cash in again. So, this only 6 right here. Zubats, Hart, Kuz, Caruso, Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect. They're on another level, man. And what could have been, man, that will be discussed in basketball history when all this is over. So I just want to drop that nugget real quick. Until next time, JB for BTB, Behind the Bench.